Alright, so in the last video we went ahead and added our search functionality, so we can now search. We also have the popular and movies and theaters on the home page. Now what we want to do is start to set up our router so that we can create our movie component, which is the details page. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and set the router up. First thing we're going to do is let's go into the app folder and we're going to create a new file called app.routes.ts, and in this file we're going to import a couple things. We want the provide router package, we want router config, and those are going to be imported from the Angular router. Okay, we're also going to bring in the movies component. That's going to be from /components movies/movies.component. Alright, and then we're going to say const routes router config, and let's set that to an array, and that's where our routes will go. So let's put the home route, which we need to set a path, and that's going to be just a blank set of quotes that represents the home page, and then component is going to be movies component. Okay, then down here we're going to export const app router providers. Alright, and we're going to set that, I'm going to say provider router, and then pass in routes. Actually, we don't want that there. Alright, so that should do it for now. We will have to bring in the movie component, which will be the details page, but let's save this for now. And we're going to want to go to our index.html and go right below the opening body tag and just put in a base tag with an href value, and we're going to set that to just / for the home page. Alright, so we'll save that, and then let's go to main.ts and bring in that routes file we just created. So we're going to import it as app router providers, so that'll be from ./app.routes. Alright, and then we're going to put that, we're going to go down here and add that. So app router providers, just like that. Save it. Now we're going to go to the app component.ts file, and let's bring in the router directives. Alright, we're going to just add those down here. We're also going to want to add those in our movies component. So let's save this and go to movies component ts, bring it in here, and then just add it into directives, just like that. Save it. And now what we'll do is create our movie component. So in the components folder, we're going to say new folder, and let's call this movie. Alright, inside here we'll create a new file called movie.component.ts and movie.component.html. Okay, and here for now we're just going to say movie details. All right, and then in movie component TS, I'm actually going to copy what we have in our app TS file, or app component TS. Paste that in, and we're not going to need this movie component. We don't need that. The service we need, but we need to change the path. It's going to be dot dot slash dot dot slash. All right, and we don't need this, and we do need the router directives. Okay, so let's get rid of this down here, JSON provider, and let's change this class name to movie component. We also don't need that. And then let's change the selector to movie, and the template URL will change to movie component HTML. So let's save this, and then what we want to do is go back to our app routes TS file, and we need to add the route for this now. So let's say path. Path is going to be movie slash and then colon ID. All right, and then let's say component is going to be movie component, which we have to import. So let's just copy that, take the S off, and that should be good. So let's save. Now what we want to do is go to our app component HTML, and where we have movies, we now want to change this to router outlet. Okay, we'll save that. And now you can see it's still displaying the movies component because that's the route, that's the home route. And now what we want to do is go to our movie component HTML, movies component HTML, and go down to, let's see, our details right here, details button. So let's start with the popular movies. So where we have the button, we're going to get rid of the href and the role. Let's get rid of those, and we're going to put router link, and we're going to set that to slash movie slash, and then we need the ID, which I believe we can get with just movie.id. Yeah, let's try that. Alright, so now when I hover over it, if you look down here in the corner, you can see it goes to movie and then the ID. If I click it, it goes to the correct place. Now I believe that it's showing the content, but it's behind the nav bar. Usually I remove a class to fix that, but let's go to app component HTML, and it's this right here, this nav bar fixed top. If we get rid of that and save it, and then let's go back to localhost 3000, click on a movie in popular, and you can see that we're seeing the details component, or the movie component. So now what we need to do is get that movie by the ID and display its properties. So let's go to movie component.ts, and we're going to bring in, we're going to import activated route. Okay, and then we need to go into our class and create a constructor. And we're going to inject here private route and set that to activated route. And we want to be able to get the ID. Let's actually bring in on init as well. So up here we're going to say on init, and then implements on init, and we have to use a function called ng on init. Okay, and we should have access to the router in here. So let's say this dot route dot params dot subscribe, and in here we're gonna say params, set that to code block, and in here let's do console.log, and we should now be able to get the ID with params, params, and then pass in ID. So let's try that. Okay, so we'll reload localhost 3000. Go here, let's open the console, and there it is. Okay, so we're getting the ID. That's good. So now we need a service function. So we have our service imported, but we still need to inject it here. So let's put a comma and say private underscore movie service. Set that to movie service. All right. And then we're going to, let's say this dot underscore movie service, and we're going to have a function called get movie. We're going to pass in here the ID, so params ID. Actually, let's set that into its own variable. Yeah, I'll go like that. So get movie ID, and then that's going to be an observable, so subscribe. And in here, let's say movie. And then we'll say this. Actually, let's first just console log. All right, so we'll save that. Then let's go into our service. And in here, we're going to have that get movie function, which will take in an ID, and that ID will be a string. Alright, so in here I'm going to paste this in. Okay, so same thing we've been doing. We're using JSONP.get. We have the URL here, and we're going to go movie / and then the ID that we bring in, and that's it. Then just the callback and the API key. Alright, so let's go ahead and save that. And now we'll go back to localhost 3000 and reload. Let's click on one of these movies, and now you can see down here we have an object, and it has all the information. Alright, so now what we want to do is back in the movie component, instead of just logging it, we want to set it to a property. This dot movie equals movie, and we need to set that as a property up here. So movie, which is going to be object. So we'll save that, and then let's go into our movie HTML file, and let's put a div here, and we're going to first check for it. So ngIf equals movie, and then let's just see if we can get the title. So we'll just put in movie dot title. Alright, so we'll save that, and let's go back to localhost 3000 and click on a movie, and you can see we're getting the title. Alright, so we know that we're fetching it. Now we just have to add the data here as well as the markup. So I want to use a panel, so I'm going to go to the movies component and just grab one of these panels, and let's see, I'll paste that in right here, and then we'll take the title, cut it out, and put it right in here. And then in the body, we'll take everything out of inside this row, and then basically we just want to have two columns here. So we'll say div class, this will be call md5, alright, and then we're going to have another column which will be 7. Okay, this one is going to have the image. So let's say image. I'm going to give it a class of thumbnail, and the source http image.tmdb.org/t/p/w500/ and then we can put in movie.posterPath, and that'll get us the image. So let's go ahead and save that. And there we go. We get the image. We have the title here. Now in here we just want to put a UL with a class of list group. Okay, and we're going to have li, also have a class of list group item. And let's see, we're going to put the genres here. Alright, so genres is actually an array, so we're going to put a span, and let's do an ng4, and we'll say let genre of movie.genres. Alright, and then in here we're just going to put double curly brace and say movie, I'm sorry, not movie, genre.name. Alright, and then let's copy this li, and then we just want the release date. So let's see, we're gonna change this to release date and get rid of the span, and we'll just put movie.release date. Alright, so we'll save that, and let's go and click on a movie. Okay, genres, action, adventure, fantasy, release date. Alright, we'll probably want to put a comma and a space between those. So right here, let's go like that. Alright, so there's our movie listing. Now we also have a home page value too. If we look down here, home page, which goes to a website. So what we can do is put a button underneath the UL, or a link, and let's just give it a class to look like a button. We'll say visit movie website. Alright, and here let's put movie.homepage, and let's make this open in another window. Alright, just click that. Well, that didn't work. Ahref movie.homepage. Oh, actually this one doesn't have one, so we could put an ngIf right here. So we'll say ngIf movie.homepage. Okay, so now that movie shouldn't have a button. If we go back to this one, it does. Alright, good. So now all we have to do is we need to be able to click on view details in the theaters and also our search results. So if we go to let's see, if we go to movies component HTML, and let's grab this right here, this router link attribute, and we'll copy that and let's add it down here to in theaters. Save that, and up in search results we'll do it as well. Alright, so now no matter what we do. Let's say Terminator, click on view details, and we can view details. You also might want to put a home link up at the top here. So if we go to, is it app component HTML, let's go right in here and let's put a UL, give it a class of nav, and also navbar dash nav. And then we'll put an LI. And an A tag, and let's say router link equals slash. And we'll say home. Save it. Okay, now we have a home link. So if we were on a different page, we want to go back, we just click home. Alright, so that's going to do it. Now there's more you could do with this API. You could add to this application. So you may want to think about doing that kind of as like a little test. But yeah, so that's going to be it, and I'll see you in the next project.